right, I think that's working. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Eric. I am an alcoholic. I am also the Vice President of the Board of Trustees here at the Al-Anon Society of Minneapolis, also commonly known as 2218. Please stand and help me open with the Serenity Prayer. Who woke us? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. 2218 Saturday Night Speaker Meeting. This is an open meeting and all are welcome. We feature members of recovery to share with us their experience, strength, and hope. For 78 years, 2218 has been a self-supporting home to recovery. Our main source of income is our membership. We encourage you to become a pledging member. Feel free to see me after the meeting to learn more about this opportunity. The second way 2218 is self-supporting is through our own contributions. I have asked Jean to pass around the basket. She's back there. Please give what you can. Donations help to keep our lights on, heating and air conditioning, water and sewer, and maintaining the building, which was originally built in 1887. It is an old mansion, and thus everything costs more. Let's see here. I feel like I'm missing a page here. All right. As we pass the basket, please be sure to silence your cell phones and electronic devices. For announcements, we do have our Ride for Recovery that is coming up on June 26th. That is our annual biker run and event. There will be live music, meet up at the Harley-Davidson in St. Paul. Kickstands up, I believe, at 10:30 a.m. And then festivities here will kick off after our noon AA meeting, so around 1:32. And we'll have live music and some other things going on. Working on getting wristbands for that right now. There also will be the Pat Cronin birthday bash come September 11th. And if you are interested in getting involved with any of the committees for that, you can see me, or you can at the front desk fill out a volunteer form, and I'll let you know how you can become involved with that. And let's see here. Oh, I did not ask anybody to do the preamble. Can I get a reader for the pre? Joa. Well, you can come on up. I got it up here. Well, some people do. I'm impressed when they have how it works memorized.
Keep coming back. I'm Joa, and I'm a recovered alcoholic.
Hey, Joa.
The AA Preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy. Neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety.
Thank you, Joa.
Thank you.
All right. And I have asked Kurt to come up and read how it works. Thank you, Kurt.
I usually just perch on this platform. Let's see. Kurt, alcoholic.
Kurt.
How it works from the big book. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. There are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our story is disclosed in a general way, what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any lengths to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. We thought that we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which was suggested as a program of recovery. 1, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that the power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory, and we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening, as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order!" I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter of the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And C, that God could and would, if God were sought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. I'd like to now welcome our speaker. Tom, our other board member, had invited our speaker out tonight. I wish I had a little bit of information that I could share about him, but he's going to be sharing his story with us. So I'd like to introduce to the podium Zeki to share his experience, strength, and hope.
Can I remove this?
What's it?
Can I take this off? The mask?
Oh, yeah.
Just making sure. It's awesome to be with you. My name is Zeki, and I am an alcoholic.
Zeki.
My sobriety date is December 19th, 2019. And I do have a sponsor, and my home group is the Rojo Men's Group. We meet daily. I'm half Turkish, half American, and I married a Greek. I never quite fit in Turkey. I was too American. I never quite fit in here. I was too Turkish. And in Greece, I definitely didn't fit in. I had very little to do with them. But I always kind of felt apart from, never a part of. And there was really no reason behind that, because I had a great family, a loving one, good friends, but there was just something missing. And I kind of played that comfortable everywhere, belongs nowhere card. Just I took that straight to the bank. You know, worked through jobs, countries, relationships. I studied to be an engineer. I worked in finance. Then I became an entrepreneur. I, changed countries like people would change T-shirts. Always, the next one, the next one, the next one. Whenever something started fitting, I took it off. Relationships. I just almost was irked by comfort. When something started working, I ran away from it. I set that bar higher, higher, higher. I was chasing something. I didn't know quite what, but it definitely wasn't whatever I had. I did the right things. I got right jobs. I had the right hobbies. I hung out with the right crowd. It was kind of like an armor of sorts. I was protecting myself again from something which I didn't know what was. I was always looking for some sort of outside fix for something that was wrong inside. And later on, when I became a member of our program, then I kind of understood maybe what was going on, but not at that point for sure. I moved to Greece after I did my school, and I got married, and I took on risks. I was an entrepreneur. I jumped in, I dove first, and then I figured it out. Sometimes it worked out, often it did, but it was a lot of stress. I overexpanded, I had liquidity problems, and I tried to deal with my liquidity problems at work with liquids, alcoholic ones. I drank a lot. And I could drink a lot more than a lot of people, and I thought I wore that as a badge of honor. My life started unraveling. Things started falling apart. My wife gave me 38 chances. I sabotaged every single one. This was the point where people really started getting pissed at me. Anger was the one word. I was pretty good at kind of making excuses and getting one more chance or wiggling myself out of one more tight corner. But I started pissing people off. Once I got thrown out and my marriage was over and I kind of managed to destroy everything I'd built to that point, I moved to Turkey. My main point was to show them, all those people, whoever they were, that had wronged me, that, somehow it was anybody's except my fault, whatever had happened. Why the business fell apart, why the marriage fell apart, why people abandoned me. I built another gilded cage, a nice one. The difference was that it was in a more toxic environment. It was more volatile. It was more dangerous. I added other substances to the liquid diet. Somehow I functioned, but people weren't pissed at me anymore. The word that comes to mind is just apathy. People stopped caring. I'd run out of excuses. At that point, I was running out of excuses also myself. So I figured I'd go get sober, because it was a hard job, drinking that much and trying to work, and I needed a break. So I went to the West Coast of the U.S. and I stayed in a 90-day program. I got an A in recovery. And then I went out for 6 more months. The point I went out was when I was absolutely sure, I was 100% sure that I had decided that I was going to stop drinking. That's when I drank more. That's when I acted crazier. And that's when I started getting afraid. I could not control this. After those 6 months, I was pretty beaten up. I just hardly had a pulse. And there was this interventionist, this wonderful man who's passed since, who was trying to he was there available for me. So I reached out to him, and he said, I know of one single place that may give you, and this was a place called Alina Lodge. It was like the Pelican Bay, the Sing Sing of recoveries, where you went in and they didn't have an exit date for you. What they should have told me in the beginning is you leave there when you don't want to leave. I stayed there 15 months in 2016. And, I was looking for any and every excuse possible to not surrender. It was that person in my life. It was the way I did it. It was how I did it, when I did it. It wasn't that I am an alcoholic. I was trying to find a way around this. After that, I got sober, finally, kind of quasi-admitted that I was an alcoholic. Had a few years of sobriety where I was an active member. Whatever I do, I try to do well. And then I went to the West Coast. I studied gemology, which was something I'd always wanted to do. I was very active in the program on the West Coast. And after that, I went back to Europe. And I figured I had kind of had this thing, I was sober. Things were coming back together. And I drifted away from the program. I stopped going to meetings. I stopped doing service work. My sponsor, if I had one, didn't know I existed, or I wasn't sure if he was alive. I was a dry drunk, and I started going crazy because I was feeling that old way I used to feel, which I used to put that Band-Aid on with the bottle, but I didn't have the bottle. So I really started feeling like I was going crazy. I ignored what alcohol was doing to me, or alcoholism was doing to me. And I just tried to focus on what it did for me. I was just dreaming. I was just hoping that there was a way around this. I wanted things to change. I really did, but I wasn't willing to change. I came back to the US on my sobriety date, which I just shared with you. And since then, I've been sober. Now, that's my experience. Nothing crazy about it. But what I really want to focus on is not the experience, because I think everybody's experience is kind of along the same lines. But I want to share with you what I consider is my strength. And I want to share with you what gives me hope. When I got on a plane here, I bought a one-way ticket, which was double the price of a return ticket. Because I was sick and tired of making plans and trying to, have an exit. I figured this time I'll give it my honest best shot. This time I'll say I am an alcoholic. Not qualified, not conditional, not sort of subject to something. I'm a pickle, not a cucumber. I'm not going back to that salad sort of. If I continue, I'm going to become relish. Recognizing that I have a problem, and that problem's called Zeki. and recognizing, what did I do? What actions, what behavior led me down that spiral of spiritual, emotional, and physical deterioration, depletion, exhaustion? And today I recognize that it's some pretty specific ways in which I thought, acted, behaved that led me. Top of the list was denial. I rationalized, justified, minimized, focused on the good, ignored the bad. A defense mechanism of sorts, a way in which I tolerated myself, a way which gave me an out to ignore the consequences. I projected my feelings onto others. If I'd thought through it and it was the right thing, I was going to make you believe it was. You better. I paid lip service to my priorities. My actions were different. I hurt people I really cared for. My children, my mother, people who I really love. Another one was self-centeredness. Everything I took personally, things were either an insult or a compliment. I let people run over me or ran over them. The world revolved around me. I put particularly my eldest daughter in a position where she had to parent me. And to date, I live the consequences of that. I was obsessive, compulsive on jobs, on relationships, on sports, on eating, on resting. I did everything, one at the expense of the other. I either smothered people or I was unavailable. Anything to distract me from actually feeling. Because what I felt was uncomfortable. And if I kept myself busy enough, maybe that instant I didn't feel. I loved isolation. Any excuse to withdraw, any excuse to kind of not be accountable, away from that place where I had to explain the craziness, explain the insanity, explain why I kept on acting that same old way and expecting different results. I tried to fill that wide gaping hole with relationships. I had a string of relationships with broken individuals, with toxic individuals, with people who hurt me, with people I hurt. I was unable to define myself as a standalone entity. I was always part of some relationship, something to somebody, something of somebody. Looking you men and women in the eye and saying these, recognizing these behaviors is my strength. What gives me hope is that I have a toolbox. I have a way in which I can face life on life's terms as it unfolds. If I come all the way in, if I sit all the way down, if I work these 12 steps in order and I don't treat them like an a la carte menu, and I do this to the best of my ability, not skimping on the seemingly insignificant ones, I can breathe underwater. I don't have to drink. I don't have to drug. I don't have to eat too much. I don't have to kind of use people or let people use me. I feel joy. I can actually feel. I'm told that there are certain tools which I have to pay particular attention to. They tell me, ask for direction and listen. Because when I ask for direction, I usually just talk. Because the only reason I asked for direction was I wanted somebody to co-sign some craziness, to tell me what I wanted to hear. And now when I pray and ask for direction, the answer often is not what to do, but what not to do. I'm told to listen. I'm told to pause. Put a breath between that first thought that comes to me and what I do. Rarely ever is that first thought anything good. Just breathe, just pause, just let time, just something in between the thought and the action. Let it happen. Stop trying to make it happen. Do my best and realize that what's meant to be will be. So often I just, made stuff happen that just wasn't meant to be. And then I couldn't undo. Let God do my scheduling. Stop trying to micromanage. Just let it happen once I've done my best. If I'm faced with misfortune, I can be constructive. I can deal with it as best I can. If it so happens that good fortune comes my way, I can deal with it humbly. I didn't have any of those. It doesn't matter what happens. I have a choice. I can accept it and just embrace it and do my best, or I can grumble about what's wrong with it. Alone I drink, together we stay sober. I cannot do this by myself. This is a we program, and I stay connected. When I'm down and out, when I hit a bump, I reach out. I connect. I don't drift away. I don't let me, myself, and I get into some sort of committee discussion to figure out what's going on. I don't listen to that animal on my shoulder whispering at me and telling me. I reach out to a fellow alcoholic. I recognize that things are not going to happen on my time. Amends, rewards, things I deserve, not on my time. All I have control over is my side of the street, what I can do, and I stop letting other people's thoughts, other people's reactions rule me. Spiritual bypassing, a big one for me. So many good things, just those positive things. I can do them to the point where I'm so busy where I don't have time to deal with what's of essence. 12 stomping. I can go to 20 meetings a day. I can just do all these good things to a point where I don't have time for me. or time to really act in line with my priorities. I need to question my motives. So often I do things and I don't think why I do them. You know, I need to be honest with myself. I need to ask if I want something, why I want it. I spent my entire time when I was drinking obsessed with yesterday, afraid of tomorrow, and absent from today. Anything positive I know of is in the moment. Anything I want to feel that makes me whole is in the moment. I started to be present. I have a lot of resentments. And I clung on to them for dear life because I figured that forgiving meant that I'm wrong. I used to hear that old, resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other one to die. I had all these catchy reasons why to kind of not do it, but it just didn't register. Today, I recognize that forgiving doesn't mean that they're right and I'm wrong. Forgiving means that I'm not going to let that event define who I am. Agree to disagree. Accept that we disagree. Accept that it's not about me and them who is right. It's about not getting stuck in a quicksand that's going to consume me. How I feel, how they feel, it doesn't have to be the same. We don't have to agree with those others. I just have to realize that it's possible to agree to disagree. You know, a lot of those things I mentioned to you when I was sharing with you what I feel are my strengths, a lot of those tools I tried to share with you that I daily use to stay sober and just work toward peace and joy are elusive for me. You know, today's my natal birthday. And I have 3 kids who stopped talking to me when I became initially sober 4 years ago. And I have no contact with them. And I want so much to have them back in my life. If I wasn't able to realize that it's not going to happen on my time, that in fact, me wanting to sort of be with them today, now on my birthday, is quite selfish. If men in this program did not show me how I can pray for them, even pray for their mother, and be happy that they're well, be happy that they're healthy, and not necessarily focus on that entitled position of I deserve to be in their life, but just realize that it's not in my control. I would drink over it. I've drunk over that one again and again and again. You know, today I can work towards solutions without focusing on arriving. I used to be, I'm at A, I got to go to B.
the road was a blur. And at B, well, there was C and whatever else. I missed the point that it's all about the journey. Today, I've moved through situations with a willingness to learn, an openness to feel, and no need to analyze. I don't have to know how the airplane flies to get on it. Because I have my AA family by my side, the principles of our program of the 12 steps behind me, and I have my higher power everywhere. I don't need to figure out anything. Because trying to figure things out, trying to nitpick it, trying to overanalyze it, that's just another exercise in me trying to find some sort of rational, analytical way to get around this. You know, I know the big book and the 12 steps and a lot of our literature. I've read it. I like it. Makes sense. It's beautifully written. But I read that a lot of times before I got sober. That's just good information. Me not drinking today is not a result of that. The transformation that brings me today to share with you is a result of how I identify with our members living that information. How men, giants in my life, and some women, weave these principles into life. How they make AA part of their life, not their life part of AA. Men and women who show me that it's possible. Men and women who work that sobriety muscle and stop acting like it's a task or an effort, but sort of live in one continuum of sobriety. They just live happy, joyous, and free. I want that. I used to focus on, once I wrote all that information, why not to? I had a lot of reasons, why not to do that. But the transformation I'm talking about is looking at that same information and feeling, why not? Why not go to a meeting? Why not help somebody? Why not? I used to be manic or numb. Today I'm peaceful and alert. I used to look at a flat earth, swim to the edge, and then fall off it again and again. It was like kind of Groundhog's Day. Our program has given me my past back and given me my future back. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm Zeki, and I am an alcoholic.
One more time, let's give Zeki thanks for sharing. Everyone is welcome to remain after the meeting for a bit and thank our speaker and visit with each other. I do believe there is some coffee left, so if you want to finish that off, please help me close with the responsibility statement. Who is responsible? I am responsible. When anyone, anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of AA always to be there, and for that, I am responsible. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.